Yes, guys, it's me, Sammy. Another episode of Talk of the Town. This one's a bit different though. I'm not really talking about the town. I'm kind of talking about something I experienced. I'm talking about losing my father at what, like age 12. It was just before I turned 13. I ain't got no guest with me today. It's just me. I got a crew behind the camera who might ask me a few questions. So let's get into it, yeah? So, well, about 2016 it was. Like everything was normal. Like I swear to God, I was in my second year secondary school. Literally just started. Everything's normal and it's all going well. My life had been kind of cushy up until then. Like literally nothing bad was really happening. So boom, I'm doing my thing, smashing everything, and yeah, October 2016. Like we went shopping one day. Me and my dad were like, "Cool, let's go." And my mum, like, "Let's go shopping. Let's go out." And my dad is very close to my grandparents, who obviously I'm very close to now, and we've gone out shopping, and he didn't even want, like, normally it was just me, him, and my mum, but on this occasion he was like, "Nah, make sure you call the grandparents, make sure they come." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So they're coming as well. We get there, and he's complaining to my mum. He's like, "I don't feel too good. I'ma stay in the car while you guys go do your thing." But this wasn't like it wasn't like it was like mad chest pains or something. He was just like, "You know what? I'm not feeling right." So we're walking through, kind of doing our thing, like me, my mum, my grandparents, and my mum's got a bad feeling in her stomach now, and she's like, "Nah, I can't do this. I have to go back." She's called him, and he didn't sound too well on the phone. So my mum's like, "I'm going back to the car. You guys do your thing." So my mum's gone back now, and it probably wouldn't have even been like 5 minutes later maybe. My nan gets a call, and I don't hear. Obviously, my nan's on the phone. All I can hear is, "I'm coming. I'm on my way. I'm coming. Don't worry. Don't panic." Automatically, I know something's up now. So, panic, panic, panic. My nan's just said, "Forget everything. You run back to the car." So I'm like, "Cool. I'll run back then." So I start running back, and in my head, I just knew it was peak because this was never expected. There was no health concerns up until this point. There was no warning signs. There was nothing. So I'm praying in my head. I'm a religious boy, so I was praying hard. Like I was like, I didn't even know what to. How do you think in that situation? You're thinking the worst. So I run back. I'm running back to the car. It was like a movie. I swear to God, it's like a movie. I'm pushing through all these people. Why is there bare man? There's never normally that many people, yeah. But on this day, there was bare people. So I'm pushing through everyone. I get there and it's like, that's it. I never saw my dad alive. Like that's it. That was it. He was on the floor. There was blood and vomit coming out of his mouth, and he had a heart attack, and he was dead on the scene. So that was it. That my last memory of my dad was seeing him sit in his car, and he said, like, "I'm just gonna chill here because I'm not feeling too well," and that's it. So obviously, I'm like, "What the hell?" I've got there and I've kind of gone straight down to the ground. I think someone's doing CPR on my dad. I have no clue who these people are. And there's quite a few people around him, and my mom's obviously in bits. Like she's like screaming, "Come on, you can do this!" Like, but I'm looking in my dad's eyes now, and I could see that he was gone. Like I could see it. Like I could see there was a glaze over his eyes, and this guy weren't there. And I knew in that moment that there's no like he ain't gonna survive this, and I knew it was a heart attack straight away. So yeah, CPR's happening, ambulance. I remember some random old lady grabbed me and started hugging me, and I still have no clue who that is now. But some old lady just started hugging me. She's like, "It was all fine." She gave me her phone number, but I don't know where that is. And yeah, I kind of knew. Like I just knew. And then I was too scared to go in the ambulance with my mum. I was too scared to go back, so I was like, I'll just go back to my granddad's house with my grandparents. And yeah, then we got the call to say, "Yeah, man's gone." But I knew it. I knew it. It wasn't a shock to me at that point. It was not a shock to me. I knew it. I knew he was gonna be gone. So gone to the hospital, and it's the weirdest thing because at 12 years old, you never think you're gonna experience that. So I've gone into this hospital. I've gone into like a side room. There's just a room, and it's just my dad on the bed, a deathbed, literally a deathbed, just there, cold and gone. And it's weird because when you see a dead body, it's not, you don't know it's a dead body. It's like they're sleeping and they're ready to wake up any moment. And yeah. So the next few days was hectic. In my religion, in as a Muslim, you bury the person quick. The body does not hang around and that. So literally the next days spent in the mosque, family, friends, and I'll be honest, the first day, I think one of the stages of grieving is acceptance, and I didn't reach that in the first day. I was in the denial stage of grieving. So I didn't believe it happened. And the first day I didn't cry because I didn't think it happened. Like, I didn't think that this was possible. It didn't settle in until the second day, and that's when the tears came. But even then, it felt weird. Like, it didn't feel like it was real. Like, I still felt like I was dreaming. I was still waiting for him to come home, and like that carries on till now, actually. And yeah. So he got buried, and I went to school a week later. Literally, I think 8 days after he passed away, I was in school. He passed away on the Sunday, and then I went in not the Monday following, the Monday after that, and I just cracked on like normal. And yeah, never received any professional help from that. I didn't even get asked. I walked into school and my teacher said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course you're not gonna say no." So you just kind of go in and do your thing. So I cracked on with that, and I'll be honest, like the lasting effects from my dad passing away it's tough because no one teaches you how to deal with death, especially not when you're 12 years old. You never think you're gonna have that conversation, and it affected my education because my dad was a big like believer in education. He wanted me to do well. He paid for private tuition as I was growing up during primary school. He done everything for me. So as I've lost him, the main person who's pushing you, the main person who wants you to do well, isn't there. You start slacking. You're not doing your best. You're not behaving how you used to do, and it's quite difficult to manage. So my education took a hit from there, and I didn't achieve what I could have achieved and stuff. But I still done my thing. And your personal life takes a hit because no, at 12 years old, not many people have experienced that. So when it comes to talking to someone about it, when you want to talk to someone about something, you usually go for the most relatable option. But in my case, I had no one because who's relatable to that? So hard to talk to family. Like it's so hard to lose a parent and explain what it's like because you're locked in your own thoughts and no one can help you. Even people that have experienced the same thing can't truly help you because every death's different. Every person has a special attachment to that person, and it's different, and it's so hard to deal with. So for me, yeah, like my personal life did take a hit, and when I say personal life, I mean my mum, as in she didn't deal with it well. My aunties didn't deal with it well. My brother didn't deal with it well, and still the effects are still there. So it is very difficult to deal with, and like there's a PTSD element too, I guess, where I saw traumatic things in that moment where I see my dad on the floor gone. There's times where you'll be having the best day, you'll be out with your friends, everything's going well, talking, and then you'll blink and you see the things you've seen in that moment, and your mind goes back to it, and it's like you can't even have a good moment no more because it's constantly filled with that and stuff. So it's quite difficult. Like even in your good moments, you're thinking about that, and in your good moments, you're thinking, I wish I had my dad to be here with me. So like moments don't feel as good as they should. Like I passed all my exams, and my dad would have been buzzing by that. I passed everything, and but it doesn't feel like anything to me because there's no one to celebrate it with. So yeah, it was quite tough, but I'm gonna get into some questions because I got quite a few questions on this actually, and it was a topic that a lot of people wanted me to talk about. I'll start off. Who played or filled the father figure in your life? And I'll be honest, that ain't been filled. Like the character of my dad, I've never met someone like that. The most caring, loving, gentle person ever. Obviously, my older brother has stepped in and has done so many good things for me. I love my brother so much because the guy he's done his absolute best, and that's the most I can ask for. My uncles have stepped in and offered me advice, spoke to me, but no one's gonna truly fill that role, and you kind of have to do it yourself and take on. You have to learn so much on the go. That's why people who go through traumatic stuff make so many experiences, because it's trial and error. Everything's trial and error because the one person that you went to for advice for isn't there no more. So everything's by yourself, and you feel like you have to work 2-3 times as hard as everyone just to be on the same wavelength as them, because you're gonna make mistakes constantly. What's the biggest change and struggle you have experienced after losing your father? The biggest change is like being independent from a young age. 13 years old, I was doing everything by myself, and the care isn't as strong as it used to be. There's no one there to guide you. It's all you now. That's how I felt anyway. So that was probably the biggest change and struggle, is doing everything by myself while trying to maintain a happy relationship with my family. and not let the stages of grief get in the way. But it's quite difficult to do so. A simple question really is, how did you deal with it? How I dealt with it, I didn't deal with it. I didn't deal with it for a long time, and it probably took until the COVID lockdowns for me to sit down and think. Um, that was hard because you're alone in your house. Like, I had family there, but they're all feeling the same way because we all went through the same thing. So to sit there and just think about losing your pops isn't good. And I didn't really deal with it until now. I'm learning to deal with it through prayer and just means like that, really. Was there any activities or things that helped you during the time of dealing with this? Actually, yes. I bought a season ticket at Aston Villa. I live literally next to the stadium, and I've always been a fan of them. But I finally bought a season ticket, and that helped me for a while to get over the things, because for that time you're in a football stadium, you're not thinking about anything more than that. So that was a distraction. And what I've learned through not just losing my pops, but any other traumas I've had in life, is distraction. But at the same time, it's like, do you solve the problem at the base, or do you just distract yourself from it? It's hard to deal with because you're constantly asking that. With things you're achieving now in life, is it hard knowing you would have wanted your dad there? Like, with seeing how far you've come and how much you've worked for stuff, and 100%, yeah. Obviously, like, I passed all my exams, and that was my dad's dream for me, to pass all my exams and do well in education, and I've done all of that. My mum and my brother probably don't really know what I really achieved in the education field. My family don't really know, but my dad would have, and I know that. So that's hard to deal with. You know, it feels like no matter what you achieve, no one's there to appreciate that no more. One of my mates has said, I've always wondered this, but we all dread the day we lose one of our parents, and the loss of our father figure has an impact on everything about our lives. So do you reckon you've changed based off all the things he taught you? Yes, 100%. And a clear message sticks in my head from losing my pops. And I remember a few months before I lost him, we were at another family member's funeral, and I didn't want to go. I was a little annoying child. I didn't want to go, and he pulled me to the side and said, look, son, one day it's going to be your funeral and you're going to want people there, so just attend and be respectful. And then a few months later, to lose my pops, and I was in the same room that I was in for that funeral, but this time everyone was there for my dad. And that just made me think a lot, like, you know what, you have to treat people in regards to how you kind of want to be treated back, because look, he said that thing, he attended because he's gonna, like, you know, you have to be respectful. And one day you're gonna want people at your own funeral. And look, he had loads at his, like, there was loads there. Does it ever feel like he was never there to begin with? That's a mad question, but I'd say no, it definitely feels like he was there, because I had 12 years with him. And I can imagine for a lot of people who had less time with their pops, it probably didn't feel like they were there, because even for me, my memory is a bit hazy and stuff. Like, it's hard to remember when you've had 6 years without a person. Like, it's hard to remember, like, if I spend a week without a person. So to have 6 years is quite difficult. How did you feel straight after it happened? I didn't accept it. I didn't accept it for a long time, and that's when I tried to distract myself, but I wasn't really. I was probably just spending a lot of my time doing useless things, like just chilling and daydreaming. But it wasn't good. It wasn't a true distraction. That was constantly something in my head, and I always had to feel like I had to get over it. And it never. One thing I've learned actually in this past 6 years is losing someone. The feeling never gets easier, but you learn to deal with it. And yeah, it's not easy at all. Like, it doesn't get easier, because when you're down differently. Like, it's hard, but you learn to deal with it. You learn coping mechanisms. You know what to do. You know how to distract yourself. So it doesn't get easier, I'll be honest. How did you adjust to life at home after he passed? Life at home was tough, because you can imagine my mum was married for, I think, 27 years to my father at that point, and to lose him as a light switch just kind of gone, and you don't have someone no more, it's quite difficult. So she was going through the stages of grief, and so was my brother. Them two probably had their cycle at the same time. They're probably feeling the anger for a long time. And while I was trying to be in the acceptance stage, they were in the anger stage. So when you're trying to accept something and everything's going a bit nuts around you, and no one's really calm, and everyone's taking actions on everyone, it's a tough place to be. And mentally you suffer a lot, and it was very tough. Like, my home life did take a hit, as in my relationships with my family it was tough, it was patchy, and it was hard to recover, but alhamdulillah, we got there. You think losing your father made you stronger as a person mentally? Yeah. And yeah, 100% it made it easier. certain things don't upset me no more. Like people leaving my life doesn't upset me because how can it? I lost the biggest person in my life. So when it comes to the minor things like you're a kid, I don't want to talk to you. It's like, do you want, man? I don't care. Like I've lost my father. What are you gonna do? You ain't gonna change nothing now. You know what I mean? So yeah, it changes you a little bit. How do you feel your life would currently be different had you still had your father? I probably would have gone on to do like three solid A levels instead of just the health and social care course, and I probably would have been looking at unis next year. I was a high achiever when my dad was around, and I was always top of my classes. I was always getting the top grades, and then as soon as I lost him, I lost my way a bit. So life could have been very different. I might have been a kid, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I could have been a kid. I don't know what it could have been like. If there was a question or a single conversation topic that you could have with your pops, what would it be? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, what do you talk about? Because when I've needed so much help for the past 6 years. I can't sit and have one conversation with him about that. I need my 6 years back with him, but I know I ain't gonna get that. So I don't know. I might talk to him about like how to deal with people, as in family, because he took care of his people, and that's something I really pride myself on, is taking care of my mum, my brother, my aunties, my uncles, and he done it in a way that I've never seen anyone do it before. So that's something I'd ask him about, and I'd love to get advice from. How was it as a child to go through and witness that? It was horrible. That's it. That's what you're getting. That was horrible. Yeah, like no one understands you, and you feel everything you do and every way you feel like you're the biggest weirdo. You shouldn't be feeling that way, um, because like you're not the same as everyone. I wasn't the same as everyone for a long time, and it's probably why I advanced so quick. And people, when they hear my age and they hear I'm 18 and they hear about what I do and what I've dealt with and how I am, they're like, "Oh, you're quite mature for your age." And it's like I had no choice in it. I had to mature. I had to take responsibilities. I had to take care of mum. I haven't sat around and got everything hand fed to me. I had to dig in deep and do things. What were the thoughts going through your head when you found out about what happened to your father? Oh, I was there. So my thoughts, I just knew. I knew it happened. I knew he was gone for a minute. I seen him there live. I knew he was gone. And yeah, my thoughts were like, I tried to call my brother, and I was trying to tell him like I don't actually know what's going on, but dad's not in a good way. My first instinct was to talk to my brother, because he's the person that's been there for me through everything, and in that moment I just wanted to be with my family so bad. So yeah, that is something I ask him 100%. How have you managed to become the man you are today without really having a father figure there with you? I don't know what you mean by the man you are today. I feel like I'm just me in it, but like, yeah, as in for stuff I've done, it's like trial and error. Like I failed so many times because I never had the advice. I never had my dad to say, "Don't do this." It was always just do it, and if it goes wrong, fix it. It was never the case of you never had guidance. Oh, you know what? You should look into this. It was always find out by yourself. So yeah, I've had to do everything by myself in that sense, and that's probably how I've developed, and I'm still trying to develop myself is through that trial and error method. Like I said, like you know, I'm not in a position where I've got too many people around me to guide me. It's just me. So yeah. I was just wondering, do you guys have any questions as well? I can't go a day without like thinking like, is my mum alright? Because my mum's health isn't the best. Like, mum had a serious incident. I think it was last year, the year before, and it was looking dangerous. So I'm constantly thinking like, is mum okay? And it's constantly in my head. What if you lose my brother, my mum, my cousins, my auntie? I'll talk about this. So in 2010, my mum lost her dad through a heart attack. 2016, she lost her husband, which is my dad. Yeah, heart attack. 2018, her younger brother, heart attack. My granddad in England also had a heart attack, but he firmed it. I don't know how my man firmed it in it. Fair play. But and then I think it was last year we lost our cousin to a heart attack. My dad was no, my granddad in Pakistan was the oldest out of all of them. My dad was 47 years old. My cousin was 40. My uncle was 37. But that's what constantly goes through your head. It's like, what if it's my uncle, my brother, my auntie next? Like I said, I could be anywhere in the world having the best time of my life. I could be on a jet ski in Dubai and I'll probably think about my mum's health. You know what I mean? You can't escape that. for me, my coping mechanism is, obviously I'm a Muslim, so for me it's praying and that constant, like, you know, I've been through this shit now, so it's like whatever happens, I know where I'm gonna go to, and that's praying. And like that constant thought of shit, what if it's my mom next? What if it's my mom? Like I can't afford to lose my mom now. You know what I mean? Because if I do, it's just me, and that's one thing that goes through my head. It's like if I lose my mom, it's just me now. And I don't. They probably there's 100% a way. I don't believe in there's not a way out of it. There's definitely a way, but I haven't found it yet. Maybe it's professional help because that hasn't been a route I've gone down. Maybe that's actually talking a bit more. Initially, there was a rift because me and my brother, like, initially it was a rift because my brother was very angry after that for a long time, and probably questioning why it happened. And he was probably like, I don't know what was going through his head. And you know, my brother was in a good position before my dad passed away. He was getting like he was upgrading his jobs. Everything was going well for him, and he lost my dad. And so when he lost my dad, and obviously made him very angry, and that affects his relationships with people, and that affects his mood, and then his mood affects the home, like me and my mum, and it has just a knockdown effect. So initially, it did cause a rift between me and my brother because it was like, I thought he was a at the time, so I'm like, why are you just pissed off all the time, man? But as I've got older, I realized shit, I was a bit like him too. Like my friends at school, I pushed them away for a long time because I was angry, but I didn't know I was angry. I just thought like everyone's a kid. I thought the world was against me for a long time, but it was me. But now, 5.5 years on, the closest person to me in my life is my brother. And I told him he recently got married recently, and I'm so happy for him. Like he's my best friend in life. He's actual. When you think of the definition of a brother, that's me and him. We're brothers for each other. And like I told him something simple as in the car when I was hugging him. I said, "Look, there's many people I'd die for, but for you, I swear I'd kill anyone for you." I love that guy so much, and it's made us stronger because no one can come between me and him now. And no matter what we go through in life, no matter who upsets us, no matter how many times goes wrong, we know we've got each other because of this shit. We've been through this shit together, so we'll get through everything together. For me and my brother, we keep things positive now, and you know, I talk to him. We have deep talks, but we don't like to talk about that between me and him because we don't like, as in, look, we don't need to. But me and my mum, I do talk about it with. I don't know what that is. I don't know why there's a difference between talking to my mum and to my brother. But when it comes to talking about losing my dad and what my dad had, I talk to my mum because I don't know. I don't know. There's no understanding. As in people, at that time for me, as a 12, 13 years old, not many people experienced that. So who could I go to talk to? No one. When I was feeling sad and angry, no one understood me. They just thought, you're being a man. Like, why are you angry all the time? But they don't understand that because they never went through it. Even still now, there's certain behaviors that I have. There's certain ways I feel sometimes. And it's like, no one understands. Like, when I get upset, someone could upset me about something. That could be a whole separate issue, but everything comes crashing down at once. So I'll be upset. Like, I don't know, maybe someone close to me has upset me and said something like I didn't really agree with, and I'm upset about it. That won't be the only pain I'm feeling then. Every pain I felt previously, losing my dad, everything comes in that one moment. And it's not just, you don't deal with one pain at a time, you deal with all of it. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. Because I haven't really spoken to too many people that have lost parents. Because it's not easy to have these conversations, you know what I mean? And it takes a lot to sit there and open up to someone. And I like to respect that when I come to talking to people because I just feel bad. But anyway, I want to say thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for asking questions as well, by the way. And thank you to everyone that messaged me and that asked me questions today. I really appreciate it. This is another episode of Talk of the Town. I know I was kind of just talking about my things, but thank you guys. If there's any questions you have, anything you want to talk about, please leave them in the comments below. They are hugely appreciated. Thank you very much.